There's a number. You didn't choose it. You didn't sign up for it. Nobody asked you if you wanted one. But it exists. Right now. Attached to your name. Somewhere between 300 and 850. And that number, that single, silent, three-digit number, is currently deciding whether you get the flat, the car, the loan, the job, the phone contract, the life you think you're applying for. You've never seen it do this. It just does it. Before you walk in the room, before you say a word, before you are a person to anyone, you are a score first, a human second. This is how that works. Level 1. No history. You're 18. You turn 18. In the UK, you're old enough to vote, old enough to join the army, old enough to sign a contract. But your credit score doesn't exist. Not bad, not good, just absent. A blank file where a financial identity should be. And blank, it turns out, is almost as bad as terrible. You try to rent a flat, your first one. A $700 a month studio in a city where that's the cheap end. The letting agent pulls your credit. Nothing comes back. No history, no score. He doesn't say you're rejected. He says you'll need a guarantor. Someone older, someone with a score, someone who will be legally responsible if you fail. You call your dad. He signs it. You are 18 years old and you just needed a co-signer to prove you're a real person to a system that's known you for 0 days. You apply for a SIM-only contract. Rejected. Pay-as-you-go only. You apply for a student credit card. 250 limit. 22% APR. They approve it because a bad deal for you is a good deal for them. You spend 40 on it. Pay it off. Because you heard that builds credit. You heard right. But what nobody told you is how long it takes. How many months of perfect behavior it takes to become visible to a system that didn't want to see you. You are doing everything right. The system just doesn't care yet. Level 2. Poor score. Something went wrong. Or nothing went wrong. You just ran out of money at the exact wrong moment. Maybe it was the month you lost your job. Maybe it was the unexpected bill the same week rent was due. Maybe it was a missed payment on a subscription you forgot existed. The system doesn't ask what happened. The system just marks it down. 30 days late. That's all it takes. One missed payment. 1 month where the maths didn't work, and your score drops. Not a little. Sometimes 100 points. Gone. For one bad month in a string of fine ones. You try to get a car on finance. The dealership runs your credit. You watch his face change. He comes back with a number. The interest rate, 34.9% APR. You do the maths on an £8,000 car. You'll pay back over $13,000 because your score says you're risky. Because you were risky once. For 30 days. 2 years ago. The penalty for being broke doesn't end when you stop being broke. It follows you. Documented. Time-stamped. Available to every lender, every landlord, every employer who runs a background check. And they do run them. More than you know. You apply for a flat in London. Zone 3. Nothing fancy. The rejection email arrives in 4 hours. You're not told why. You already know why. You're staying on your mate's sofa for the second month in a row, and it's not because of anything you did wrong today. It's because of what happened 2 years ago. That's the timeline. That's how long the system holds the grudge. Level 3. Fair score. You rebuilt it. Took 18 months. Secured card first. Then a credit builder loan. Then one actual credit card kept below 30% utilization because you read every Reddit thread on the topic at 1 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. You did the work. The score moved. You get approved for a flat. You pay a larger deposit. 6 weeks instead of 5. Because the landlord ran your credit and hedged his risk using your money. You try to get a mortgage. You and your partner, both working. Combined income of $55,000 a year. You've saved a $15,000 deposit. That's years of saving. That's skipped holidays and no new clothes and meals cooked at home when you wanted to go out. The broker pulls your credit. Fair score. The rate they offer is 5.9%. The person next door with a higher score got 4.2%. Same house, Same bank, different number, different life. The score didn't just affect your rate. The score decided how much of your life gets handed to a mortgage lender instead of staying in your pocket. Level 4. Good score. The letters start changing. Pre-approved. Pre-selected. You've been identified as a valued customer. You didn't apply for any of this. The system came to you. Balance transfer cards with 0% for 24 months. Personal loan offers at 6.9%. Mortgage rates that start with a 4. The same institution that charged you 34.9% on a car loan at level 2 is now mailing you envelopes with your name printed cleanly, offering you money at rates that don't hurt. You haven't changed. The number did. You get a personal loan, £10,000. Home improvements, the rate is 7.4%, approved in under a minute. Money in your account by morning. You remember the last time you applied for a loan? Level 2. Same bank. 2 hours on hold. Rejection letter. No explanation. Nothing changed except the score. You walk into a letting agency to upgrade flats. Zone 2 this time. Closer to work. The agent checks your credit and moves through the paperwork without looking up. No additional deposit. No guarantor conversation. Just forms and a move-in date. You didn't become more trustworthy. You became more profitable. The system responds to that, not to you. Level 5. Excellent score. The rate on your mortgage refinance is 3.8%. Your neighbour at level 3 is still paying 5.9% on the same type of property on the same street. Over 25 years, that difference is worth tens of thousands of pounds. Not because you're smarter, not because you worked harder, because you never had a bad month at the wrong time. Or you had one and someone helped you absorb it before it hit the file. The credit card company calls, increases your limit without asking. 12,000 now. They didn't check if you needed it. They checked if you were profitable. You are. You apply for a car on finance. 2.9% APR. The same car that would have cost someone at level 2 34.9%. The price of money is not fixed. The price of money is personal, and it's lower for the people who need it least. You get a call back about a job. Senior role. HR ran a credit check as part of background screening. Standard procedure. Your check came back clean. You didn't know it was happening. You just got the call. Someone else applied. Better qualified on paper. Their check came back flagged. A debt they'd paid off. But not before it was recorded. They never found out why they didn't get the call back. The system doesn't explain itself. It just decides. The credit score was invented in 1989. Before that, lending decisions were made by people, with their own biases, their own prejudices, their own ideas about who was trustworthy. The score was meant to fix that, to make it objective, to remove the human judgment that had been used to discriminate against entire categories of people denied credit not because of their behaviour, but because of who they were. The score was supposed to be the fair version. And in some ways it was. But here's what they don't put in the brochure. The score measures behaviour in a system that not everyone enters at the same point. If your parents owned property, you might have been added to their mortgage as an authorised user at 16. Your credit history started before you knew what credit was. If your parents rented, paid cash, avoided banks, you started at 0. The score doesn't know any of that. The score just sees the file, and the file is a record of your documented relationship with money. Not your actual relationship with money, the one the system could see. Everything else doesn't count. Somewhere right now, someone is being rejected for a flat they can afford. Not because they can't pay, because a number attached to their name says they once couldn't. Somewhere right now, someone is paying 34.9% on a car, while someone else drives the same car at 2.9%. Somewhere right now, a missed payment from 2 years ago is making someone's commute longer, their rent higher, their options smaller. They're not reckless. They're not irresponsible. They had a bad month. The kind most people have. The kind that disappears if you have savings behind you and stays on record for 6 years if you don't. The credit system isn't broken. It was built to measure risk. And it does that. It just also happens to charge more to the people who can least afford it, approve more for the people who need it least, and follow people long after the moment that defined them has passed. The system doesn't hold a grudge. It holds a file, and the file doesn't care who you are now, only who you were when the money ran out.